Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon here with Texas Plinking, and man, I've been kept busy with a bunch of really cool product releases, and there's just not one that I don't want to showcase. This is the time of the year where a lot of people are going to start looking into night and thermal options, a lot of it for hunting. I don't know if you can hear that. There's a lot of coyotes out right now, as it turns out, but I'm shooting this video early October. In October, November, December, certainly, and into January, February, a lot of people want to get into some night and thermal solutions for shooting some hogs, coyotes, whatever else, or just shooting for fun as well. But night shooting nonetheless. And I may sound like a broken record if you guys are not new around here, but the whole thermal game I'm starting to showcase quite a bit more, again now because of the season, but also because they're becoming a lot more obtainable. That being said, the one I'm showing today is not one of the more obtainable ones, but all things kept relative, it's not bad whatsoever, given all of what it could do. In fact, as of right now, it's probably my favorite thermal optic I personally own right now. And when you take into consideration all the other thermal I've owned and no longer own, it shows you just how impressive this is, especially at the price point and because it really does everything I really need it to do. But this is a DNT Hydra. You guys may have seen them before, but this is the HS635R. I can make this very, very simple to watch if you've seen my other videos. This is the HS635 Hydra, like the one before it, but now it has this little block here, and that is a laser rangefinder, and it also has software into it for a ballistic calculator. So, long story short, you guys can just put in all the ballistics of your round, hit this little button on the side, which is a new button to the Hydra, and this little block does its job, ranges it for you, and tells you, if you enable the ballistic calculator, where to hold over. The question is it necessary given it's a thermal? You're not going to be doing extreme long range with it anyway. I would say it depends on the purpose as well as the cartridge. Let's go with something that is like big, heavy, slow, and subsonic, i.e. something really good for predator control. It could be a 300 blackout or just anything really, 8.6 blackout, whatever. Those things can pack a heavy punch, but they also drop very, very heavy. The rainbow on them is huge. If you're shooting a 3.3 Lapua, the difference between 100 yards and 300 yards, kind of negligible, maybe a couple inches, no big deal. 300 blackout subsonic, it is a matter of hit or miss. And so with something like that, the proposition is you guys can just zero it for whatever range you do. You tell the ballistic calculator, let's say it's 50 yards with the 300 blackout sub, and then you could go ahead and see something at 150 yards, hit this button, it tells you how far it is, whatever the distance is, let's say it's 150, and it tells you where to hold. So you could just hit the field, not even think of anything, press the button, and as long as you put the ballistic information correctly, hog, coyote, 50 yards, 150, 200 yards, you have a much better chance of just getting that first shot right on the money. You can leave it up to yourself whether you need that feature or not, but I sure think it's cool, and really, as far as real estate, it takes up that little bit more. Weight, not bad at all. And again, that little block there is it, and otherwise it's software for the ballistic calculator. And to make a long story very short, the price difference is right around $200 between non-laser rangefinder, non-ballistic calculator, and with those two features. That real quick was the rundown on the difference between the 635 and what the R means. But if you guys are watching from scratch, you guys don't even know much about the Hydra and the Hydra line from DNT, I'll go ahead and start from the beginning here. The size and weight makes it to where it could be a monocular, meaning just handhold scanning, but it does have multiple reticles, reticle colors, all that kind of stuff. So it is its own dedicated optic and scope. And we will showcase that on this rifle in just a little bit. But what really makes it very, very cool is the clip-on feature. So you can go ahead and put it in clip-on mode. It kills the reticle, moves the menu system a certain way, and you can use it on a clip-on, turning your day optic into a thermal optic. A quick note I have to make with that, because I get this asked all the time, it really is meant for a prism optic or a low power variable, 1 to 4, 1 to 6, 1 to 8, 1 to 10. As long as it starts at 1, and optically, you really shouldn't be needing to go over 2. If you need to zoom, you do zoom digitally with this, not the LPVO. So, if you're gonna use it as a clip-on, I do recommend an LPVO, like a 1 to 8 like this one here, and I keep it at 1 power. Let's go ahead and get into the granular specifics about this optic. Again, if this is your first time looking at a Hydra HS635. The HS635 is the highest resolution that they offer. It's 640 by 512. It's got a 35mm objective lens, and my favorite thing about it is the base magnification starts very, very low. It's 1.5 times, so wide field of view, really good quality. And your zoom options are 1.5, 2.25, 3 times, 4.5, and 6 times magnification. Runs off one 18650 battery, and it comes with 2 of them, which is nice, and a charger, of course. Has onboard recording video, recording audio. It has 32 gigabytes of built-in memory. IP67 waterproof rating, 50 BMG rated as well, weighs 13.7 ounces. If you're gonna be using it for a dedicated scope, like I said, it does have multiple reticles, 8 to be exact, 2 of them being first focal plane, 1 MOA, 1 mils, 5 different reticle colors, and you have 4 different profiles: white hot, black hot, red hot, and iron hot. Cool little notable feature is it does have the one-shot zero, so a freeze menu, and I'll go ahead and showcase that real briefly when we get shooting. But long story short, when you're zeroing it, you can see where you miss via the hotspot, and then screenshot the image, move the reticle to that hotspot, and you have a one-shot zero more or less. Quick note, when using it as a clip-on feature, you do not re-zero your day optic, but you do need to re-zero this to your day optic. The reason being, won't get too far into it, but the reticle and the center of the screen here is not lined up. So it could kind of almost cause like a parallax, if you will. Don't get too confused by it. You pretty much go into clip-on zeroing in the menu system and do another one-shot zero. It's actually very, very simple. I promise if I could do it, anyone can. I will say it's pretty cool. D&T just started offering this QD mount. It is an added option you could do later. But I think that's the way that you really get the whole 3-in-1 function. Yes, it could work with the base mount, both as a clip-on and dedicated scope, but just being able to just quickly throw it on something here, quickly throw it on to a clip-on system like this. I may not mount it up perfectly, but just to prove the point, just to be able to do that very, very quickly without taking like a little wrench to it. So if you guys do have the means to, I will recommend adding a QD mount to your Hydra purchase. That's about it on the talking portion for the review on a Hydra HS635R with all the feature set. Of course, the price point, like I mentioned, is $200 more than the non-ballistic calculator range-finding one, but if you guys are not familiar with that, that means this thing starts at $2,420. But as always, D&T is cool enough to hook it up with a coupon code for my viewers, which I really appreciate, and that is code TexasPlinking. This thing then becomes $2,199. So of course, the non-R of the HS635 is $1,999. So you guys can probably dictate on your own whether you guys want that feature set, $2,200 with that coupon code, or $2,000 without the feature set, again with that coupon code. So let's go ahead and use it as a dedicated scope on here. And this is a Springfield Armory St. Victor 308. It's an AR-10, 16-inch barrel. And then we'll go ahead and throw it on this right here, which is a piston-driven AR-15 Arkin EP8 1:8x28 low-power variable optic. Very budget-oriented. I think they're just a tick under $300. And even though that's not quite as budget, it works very, very well, of course. With the built-in recording, you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing as a dedicated scope. Once I put it here, you guys won't see the reticle from the day optic like I will, but I'll try to get some B-roll so you guys can understand what I'm seeing there. Let's go ahead and start off as a dedicated scope on the AR-10. We're only zeroing, just to prove the point, at, let's see here, 43 yards. All right, and so we were top left, zeroing. Let's go ahead and enable freeze. I'll probably be off a little bit. I think I was holding right about here. So we froze the image. So now I can move around all I want. I could get comfortable, whatever, go to my X-axis and pretty much move this right about here or so. Go to the Y. If I'm off, I'll be close enough to hopefully hit steel. Go ahead and hold it nice and steady here. Let's take a pop shot at that little circle there. Or we just hit it right on the money. So quick little example on how to zero it. It is just that easy. Let's go ahead and exit here. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and get to the ballistic calculator information here. In my information here, I put a 100-yard zero. I technically just zeroed it for 43. All good there. 98 yards, and as you could tell, the holdover line has not changed. 308 just won't really change, so we'll go ahead and hold right there. There you go. Just as an example, ranging this bush way out here, 595 yards, and then the holdover would be right there at that green line. Just as an example. So that was a quick example with the Hydra HS635R as a dedicated scope. Let's go ahead and throw it on as a clip-on, show you guys how easy that is. So we go ahead and get it as close as we can to that lens there. That right there will be good. Push up on it a little bit, click it into place. That's nice and tight. All right, let's go ahead and try to hold it on that silhouette again. And once again, top left from what it looks like. So put on safe. I try to hold where I was holding there. Froze it. I moved it a decent amount. Let's go ahead and see if we're good now. Certainly a very, very cool option to have if you don't want to remount, re-zero, nothing like that. You have your favorite day setup. Just being able to slap a thermal to the front of it, very, very cool. And once again, just why I like these QD mounts. Now we're done with it, go back to regular day stuff. And so there's that. We did a dedicated scope, clip-on, and then the other one, just monocular. We can go ahead and just stay with me. So here's 100 yards and 1.5, 2.25, 3. I'm trying to hold still, just hand holding it. 4.5 and 6. And then back to 1.5. Just that 1.5, you only get 1.5 times minimum zoom once you get to this series, HS635 or the 35R. And man, once you get down to 1.5, the field of view and everything's just so, so nice. While we're here, we'll also go ahead and play with the color palettes. This is being white hot here. There's black hot, red hot, there is iron. And there's all kinds of different brightness, sharpness, and contrast settings. So you can get it much better for your particular environment. Right now, you can see there's still temperature in the trees right here. And you can see that with white hot as well. Even though it's October, we're still in the hot months here in Texas. And so if it was cooler, the color contrast would be much, much better. And on top of that, if there's like a coyote or hog running in the field right now, you would pick him up very, very easily as well. I could keep going with this thing and all the feature set. And if you guys want me to, I already did just on the other 635. Not the R, but on my Texas Plinking Gear channel, where I get a little bit more nitty gritty and deep dive into the how to use and feature set. Go ahead and check it out. But yeah, that's a quicker look at this, given that I've already liked the HS635 so much. And this is now a range-finding ballistic calculator version. And again, all it means is it takes up just that little bit more space. Not really big of a sacrifice whatsoever. This is pretty easily my favorite thermal I own right now. Just as far as its clarity is plenty fine for whatever I need to do. I've sold some very expensive, I don't want to start a war with any brand out there, but let's just say $5,500 to $6,500 thermal I've owned in the past, and I only recently got it as well. I sold it just because this does everything I need it to do and more than that Optic did as well. Smaller, lighter, more compact. You can use it as a clip-on, all that good stuff. You guys already seen this video, you guys know all that. And so yeah, it's just kind of been the go-to do-it-all thermal, and now it has an extra button on it for range finding and ballistic calculator. So pretty cool. No, not the most necessary thing, but definitely cool to have. And again, if the sacrifice of just that much space and $200 more, if that is justifiable for you. But anyway, that does it for this video on the Hydra HS635R. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.